would you pay $1,500 for someone to come in and tell you exactly where all the problems are in your business? They spend $8,000, $10,000 for someone to come and do that. Meta ads does that with the potential of also bringing in cash. The fastest way to figure out what's broken in your business is to run some meta ads and some cold traffic at your systems. Nothing's going to be more humbling than that and allow you to learn and accelerate your rate of failure faster. Yo, what's happening? Welcome back to Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters. Today, we're going to be talking about how to plan out your marketing strategy for your practice based off of what stage you're actually in, because everyone's doing some mix of organic marketing, local marketing, workshops, SEO, writing some blogs, putting out some ebooks, running meta ads, Google ads, posting content. And a lot of people just aren't getting results with any of their stuff. Today, we're going to talk about our own journeys with what marketing strategies we implemented that allowed us to get to our first 10K, 50K, 100K months, what our marketing mix looks like right now, and what you should be focused on based off what stage of business you're actually in and what we're doing right now that's working pretty damn well for us. So today, as always, got me, your host, and I'm with my co-hosts, Will Schop and Zaki Afzal. What's up, guys?
What up, bro? What's going on?
Zaki, you let me say your first name wrong for 6 years. How do you say your last name?
It depends on what part of the world you're from, right? I think any person not from North America will vibe with me on this. You have a way you let white people say your name. And people that are not as cultured, because at the end of the day, we have a different alphabet, we have a different language, and my name wasn't meant to be in English. So I'd like to have a little mix of both. It's funny, like if I was saying it in Urdu, which is the language they speak in Pakistan, it would be Afzal. But when it comes to Caucasian folks, it's tough for them to pronounce it that way because the A's you guys are used to pronouncing is like ah. It's not, right? So I kind of combine
hating on Caucasians. We just nailed it first try.
Don't dare make it a hate thing. It's a understanding reality thing. So what I tell people to say is like Afzal. One is and then one is an at, and then it's like, hey, it's a good mix of both. It lets me be a chameleon. No matter where I'm at, I'm cool. You know what I mean?
That's why you let me call you Zaki for 6 years.
The whole time.
Zaki Afzal. Dude, I got it. It's locked
up. You represent Caucasians everywhere. First try. Anyway, let's get into it, you guys. Tell us right now. I want to talk about what you're currently doing for your marketing and the percentage of your new patients coming from each of those stages and how that changed and progresses over time compared to when you first started getting your first 10, 20, 30K months. So let's pass it to Zaki first. What does your marketing mix look like right now?
So right now, what it looks like is we do a good amount on Meta, but the way we diversify our Meta ads is we have it with identity-based avatars. So the way I kind of rationalize it in my mind is that when you go off of identity-based avatars, instead of just saying, hey, shoulder pain, it's, hey, lifters with shoulder pain, right? It allows you to be a little bit more diversified within one platform, right? Instead of only chasing after people that are pain sensitive, we chase after people that are losing their identity because of the pain they're kind of having, right? On Meta, we're running right now lifters with shoulder pain, lifters with hip pain, runners, and then golfers. In my mind, that's not just Meta. That to me diversifies within Meta. And I think that's what's working really well for us right now is whatever platform we end up using, we like to diversify within that platform. So instead of saying we get all of our leads from Meta, we say we get a lot of our leads based on this population, this identity. Probably 50% of our patients are coming from Meta right now. About 20% are coming from organically finding us on Google, searching for physical therapy near me, sports physical therapy, best physical therapy, Las Vegas. Right now, we are in the process of getting Google ads launched next week. So I'm really excited for that. And the other 30% is word of mouth, referrals. And that's always a constant stream. We have channels set up to make sure that we're not only asking for reviews, but when they are leaving reviews, we're asking for referrals at the same time. Typically, the lead to actually converting rate is so much higher on those that we do want to continue to have systems built in. So that's kind of where we're at. We're 50% Meta, 20% organic search, and a 30% word of mouth referral.
Is that pretty consistent with you since you started the practice?
When I started the practice, I tell this story before. When I came to my first clinical marketer event, we were at like $1 million in revenue already, and we weren't running any paid advertising, right? So we were pretty much all word of mouth, not a ton of workshops, but a lot of public speaking events. I was getting invited to conferences and events at a park where I'll talk to a bunch of people and we get a lot of local recognition through that. And then obviously my work working with professional sports teams in town, they directly send us players too. So there was a lot of local relationships that we'd already built really solidly that helped us a ton. But I would say like the biggest thing that helped us grow over the last couple of years, where we've had basically 50% growth year over year, even after we hit 7 figures, we're still at 50% growth year over year. And that is from really dialing in the paid advertising and more predictable lead channels versus just relying on waiting for somebody to feel good enough about how they're doing to actually send you someone.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. No. And I want to circle back to something that you said, because I'm wondering if Will or Ben ever did this mistake that everyone else does, where that you run like meta ads targeting like shoulders or back or just a physical therapy assessment. Did you guys ever run any of those in the past? I have.
I feel like it was completely out of fear, right? Fear of missing out on people. And like when you're running ads or any kind of marketing through fear and like desperation, people can smell it. You need to know exactly who you serve and speak exactly to that person. And then when it's time to do it, when you're inexperienced and don't have people to guide you through it, you're like, but that just, turned my like population that I can actually reach down to this many people. Instead of realizing that many people is who you actually want to work with, that message is going to land a lot harder. And then the percentage amount of people that are going to hear that message and actually want to work with you is so much higher that it's exactly what's going to get your schedule filled up and you working with the people you want. Instead of thinking like that, you think of the fear of missing out, and the desperation of wanting to reach as many people and thinking it's all a numbers game. I need to reach as many people as possible. That's what was going through my mind when I was inexperienced with the marketing side. And I know I've seen other physical therapists do the exact same thing. So I know I'm not alone. One of the biggest things that got us to have a much more predictable marketing system was completely throwing that out of my mind and only targeting the people we really want to work with.
Ben, Will, have you guys done the same thing?
Yeah, we did early on for sure. Everything that Zaki said, I totally agree with. But when you do that, you end up getting a relatively low cost per lead. And you're like, oh, I'm getting cheap leads. Like, that's great. But then the problem is you can't get them on the phone, or you do get them on the phone and they're like a couch potato, right? You have to run exactly what Zaki said. You have to run a very niche avatar where it's like, okay, yeah, it's shoulder pain, but it's like gym goer shoulder pain with bench press, right? Like niche like that. And then you can also run like an anti-avatar as well, which is like something that we do, like we mentioned, not for couch potatoes. And what that does is it's funny and you get a lot of engagement from it. But what happens is people who are couch potatoes, they read that and they say, oh yeah, no, I'm a couch potato. Like, that's not for me. Or even better, it'll attract the right person even more, because somebody will say, yeah, I'm not a couch potato. Like, I don't even want to be around couch potatoes. Like, I don't want to associate myself with that at all. I'm going to click on this ad even more. Like, that makes them want to click more. And so creating that world of really specific targeting in your ads is key for sure.
Yeah, and that's what they don't realize. Everyone says that they're not a marketer, they're bad at marketing, but they don't realize that all marketing really is understanding your person better than anyone else. And I've never met a physical therapist that can't describe their patient's problems. Just they feel like they need permission to talk about those specific details, or they think it's too nitty-gritty. That's exactly how meta works, especially today with Andromeda. Your messaging, what you say in your creative and in your ads is what determines the targeting. The more specific you can be about shoulder pinching, reaching in the back of your car, or having to sit on the sidelines with bands while the rest of your friends in the group class are working out or are out running and competing in a marathon that you got to sit out on again. Those are the things that bring in the premium clients, but it's like how your ads get shown to more people. The more specific you can get, the more people you're going to reach. It's almost like the opposite of what most people would think. So I would argue that physical therapists are a lot better at marketing than they think. They just overthink it all.
Well, and if you're, yeah, totally. I don't like marketing. I love sales and numbers and like leading. Like, that's like my world, like ops. But I've grown to like marketing a lot more, because the way that I think about it now is like, I used to say, oh, we don't want to push all these ads, or we want to grow organically and we want to do it naturally.
Don't want to bother people.
The thing is, like, when I see an ad on Instagram and I'm like, man, that ad is speaking directly to me. I'm like, that's so convenient that I needed this product or this service, and now it's right in front of my face. Like, I felt like they did me a service, and so that I can actually do it better. What happens when you run a general ad that's just shoulder pain, and it's not speaking to anybody? If you're not speaking to somebody in particular, you're speaking to nobody. You want to make it really specific. If you are somebody that works with golfers. Your ad needs to be speaking to a golfer with lower back pain who wants to increase their distance and go play golf with their friends more. That's who it needs to speak to, because you're going to get the best results for them. And if you're speaking to this general low back population, maybe like a couch potato, or you don't know anything about whatever, bowling, and it's like, oh, like, this guy's got back pain, he's a bowler. And it's like, well, you don't know anything about that. Like, you want to golfers, make your ads to the people that you're going to serve best.
Right.
I think also believing in your product too. You know, like I feel strongly that everybody that's active would benefit from being treated and working with ProKinetics, working with our physical therapist. There's nobody that would not benefit their life drastically by working with us. And so at that point, it's my obligation to make sure that as many people know about ProKinetics as possible, and that where they can get help to solve an issue. And if I'm scared to get that messaging out there, you got a bigger problem in your product and what you believe in. It's not actually a marketing issue. And so you just need to be able to believe in your product and know that, have that same belief.
And the fear of like bothering people with like too many ads or content is the funniest one. I was watching this Hormozy video. He was talking about his $100 million offers book, and he spent $10 million promoting that book. And he had billboards, insane number of ads, like all over Vegas. Zaki, did you ever see him? Yeah.
All the time.
Well, in this interview, he was talking about like he spent all of this money to promote his stuff. And then when he was walking down the strip, somebody stopped him, said like, I love your stuff. I watch all of your videos. He's like, great. Like, did you check out my book? And the guy didn't even know that he was promoting a book. Never saw an ad, never heard of the book, didn't know he was even doing a book launch. So that just goes to show it's like nobody knows you exist. No matter how much money you're throwing at your ads, I guarantee you're not spending as much as Alex Hormozy. You can't overspend and be too prominent in your community. What are you guys spending a month on ads right now? Who's spending the most?
Probably not us. We're spending like
12K.
Yeah, from just my Vegas clinics, we're at 25 a month.
I will say this though, we're in the process of acquiring a clinic, and we're going to open a second one. And so in the next couple months, we'll be at like 16K.
And what are you, like 20?
Yeah, we're at like 20K for Meta and then like 5K for Google Ads.
And ROAS across the board for you guys?
So for us, we're pretty consistently between
4 to 5.
Yeah, just depending on the month. I think on average year to date, we're like 4.6.
Yeah, we sit between a 6 and an 8. But as we do increase ad spend, like I know it'll drop. Like the goal is to spend more and to kind of sit where Zaki's like 4 to 6 range. I mean, obviously the goal is to be at a freaking 10, but at scale, like I'm good at a 4 to 6 range. Anything above that, I'm happy with it.
We're around high 4s, low 5s for the most part. One that's driving us down a little bit is we're running hiring ads, which don't have ROI from a patient acquisition standpoint, but they have it's funny. We have one creative that we spent like $30 on. We got a new patient from a hiring ad. I'm like, how did this work? It was like our ROI creative was a hiring ad and acquired a new. I still have no idea how that worked, but it's just like you just never know what's going on.
When you talk about ROAS, if you're not converting well and your prices are too low, you don't sell big enough packages from a big cash up front kind of standpoint, that'll kill your ROAS. Yeah. So it's like our cost per lead. So our ROAS sits between a 7 and an 8 right now. But our cost per lead is $80 to $90, which is usually higher than most other people that I talk to. But our ROAS is higher. And it's because our lead to package, we sit at 25, 30%. And our package prices are anywhere from $2,500 to $4,500. And so it's like we make it up on the ROAS. And I would much rather have a cost per lead where we have, but our CAC is good, but our lifetime value of our clients is so high, our ROAS is healthy all the time. And so it's like, I would rather be in that situation than have a $25 cost per lead and a 2 ROAS. Like that's a quick way to die.
Yeah. I think what's super cool about that too is like people a lot of times forget, like we're in the business of like having a compounding business, right? We're not trying to get people in and out of the door. This is not something we get people in. You're good, patch you up, kick you out. We want you in our business for the rest of your life as long as you continue seeing value and valuing the relationship. So even the ROAS calculations we have are underestimating the power of these ads. Like, for example, how I calculate the ROAS is just the money that people have come in and spent with us that one time. Yeah. Go back and figure out, like, I could probably do that. It'd probably take a little while to go back to see people who bought second packages or continuity and things like that. That only improves that ROAS, which is directly attributed to that ad because that person wouldn't have come in without it. But like, our ROAS wouldn't be where it's at unless like our average ticket our people buy when they do come in and actually buy with us off advertising is $3,450, $3,450 is the average ticket price, right? So that takes us to a point like, hey, we can spend to acquire a customer that comes in and buy, we can spend $700 and hit 5X. I don't know anybody else in my area that can spend $700 profitably. Nobody can. So we're already ahead of so many people because that's why I can spend so much money and be so prominent in the community, because we can spend it because our back end is so solid and our average ticket price people are actually buying is so solid.
Yeah, I think that's super important. Like track your ROAS of your 30-day cash collected. Like that way, anything above that is just going to be a bonus. And so like for us, it's like, we know that about 45 to 50% of our clients are going to move into some sort of continuity, which brings our lifetime gross profit all the way up to, we're at like $4,500 for lifetime gross profit. That's after fulfillment, like paying the team and everything. And so knowing that, it's like exactly what Zaki said. I know that if we have somebody that comes up and opens up next to us, I can outspend them all day, and it almost wipes out competition as long as you get good results and you have a strong brand. But that's like the main thing. That's why you want to have higher ticket pricing so that you can spend more on ads, and then it insulates the company.
Get more like cash collected up front. Get as much as you can up front so you can reinvest it back into ads, because whoever can afford to spend the most to acquire one client is going to win in marketing every single time. You can just outspend everybody.
Do you want to touch on why it's so important to be able to get your cash back in 30 days and what the repercussions of that?
Yeah, I think Jordan just touched it a little bit too. The faster you can collect that cash up front, the faster you're going to be able to redeploy it to your team, redeploy it into more ads, redeploy it into anything that you're going to grow, pulling out as profit and doing things personally. That cash collected up front is super important. An example is we used to do this after the initial package sale. We went to our continuity. We used to do like once a month membership, and we almost got rid of it and went to more package sales because I found that on average, our memberships were coming in like 1.3 times a month and staying for an average of 9 months. So it's like we were collecting 12 sessions over a 12-month time period, but we could just sell another 12 pack and then sell 2, 3, 4 of those within the year. You're going to increase your revenue. I make decisions based off of 3 things in the company. 3 things have to be true. It has to be good for the company. It has to be good for the team. It has to be good for the client. If we collect more cash up front and we sell continuity packages instead of memberships, we're going to be collecting more cash up front, which is good for the company. The team is going to have a more regular schedule, more stable schedule, so that they're going to be able to see the people that they're working with and they enjoy working with and get better results. And the clients are going to get better results from coming in more often. And so it's a win-win-win. And so that's why we made that switch. You collect more cash up front and it stabilizes everything.
You need to be able to collect that within the first 30 days so you can reinvest, because otherwise you also run out of money. If you can't get your initial investment back within the first 30 days, you run out of money. If you're strictly relying on ads, you need to be able to get your money back within 30 days. Otherwise, you can't increase your ad spend and continue to reinvest from that channel.
That's so hard for insurance clinics to really scale meta ads because their cash flow cycle is so long.
Shitty business model.
It's even infiltrating the cash PT world a little bit. There's groups teaching out there that, hey, don't even present a paid in full option.
It's crazy.
It's like a 3-4 month program, just collected over 3-4 months. I'm like, what? So if you had the option to get this money right now, you wouldn't? Like, no, that way. And then they're like, oh, because, they're already now used to paying monthly and now they just roll over a continuity, which is also monthly. I'm like, well, like if you have a hard time like selling that, that's not an issue with like the way it's an issue with the way you're set up and the way you're promoting it and how you're communicating it, right? I think that same mentality is infiltrating like the cash PT world as well. Like Will said, if we all were going to want to sit here and get stinking rich, like I would have went into some other business, right? Like at the end of the day, we're still trying to make a massive impact on the people we're trying to help. It's just really cool. We can make really good money while we're doing it, right? Like Will said, like it still is very good for the client to get that paid in full because now that person is committed to you. Now that person is committed to that outcome and believes in it so much more. And now you can actually get a pulse on their belief. Right? Imagine you were going into a program, whether it's like a coaching program or whatever, and you didn't believe in it enough and you wanted an exit somewhere, right? Like a contingency plan. You're going to be like, oh, I don't want to pay it full. Let me just put in monthly plan so I can cut it anytime, right? That should be a way that you can actually have a pulse on your team. Like, hey, are you getting people to believe that this is the place for them, that this is where they're going to get the result? Everybody knows that's a big component to getting the outcome from that patient is, can we get them to believe this is the right place? right? So I think it is kind of a little bit of a cancer infiltrating the performance PT world, is like, hey, just do everything monthly. It's better for the patient. They pay less. I'm like, yeah, but you're getting less commitment and you're screwing yourself out of faster growth.
Right. And you're giving every client a reason to back out every single month. You're giving them something to think about every single month rather than just getting that up front. I'm going to transition the questions to get us on track. But I think everything we just said lays a strong foundation for how to be successful in marketing, because the faster your cash flow cycle, the faster you can scale marketing, reallocate those funds and create that omnipresence. You can be on Google, Meta, TikTok, do more SEO. It all comes down to how quick is your cash flow cycle. If you're not already offering a pay in full price, start doing it, because you're going to have a percentage of people that say no. You're also going to have a percentage of people say yes. And the people who do say no, that's when you downsell them into a monthly option if they want to do it that way. But you're doing a huge disservice to yourself if your goal to get more sales is to reduce friction rather than getting better at sales. You're just screwing yourself in so many different ways, and the patient in a lot of ways. So let's go over to Will. What is your current marketing mix? Like, what channels are you all marketing on, and what's driving the most patient flow into your practice right now?
Yeah, I basically bucket it into two buckets. We have like an organic, local, like boots on the ground kind of style, mostly for branding. And then we have a paid acquisition strategy. Paid for us is 75% of our lead gen. Our paid mix is between Meta, which is our primary targeting cycle. And then the second one is Google. We run Meta ads, Google ads, and SEO on our website. The other 25% is through local boots on the ground relationship building. That 25%, when we generate leads and clients from it, that's a bonus for us. We do it just for branding, right? We want to isolate our brand and like insulate it as much as we can in our area. So we do things like workshops and events at gyms. We're partnered with every private country club in the area. And so we work like member guests, different tournaments they have up there. And then we are part of like run clubs and things like that. Those are like our main populations we work with, is like the fitness athlete, the runners, and the golfers. But paid, like the paid strategy is really my favorite one outside of building the brand, is because it's a lever. If we need more leads, we increase our ad spend. I saw that video that you were talking about that Hermosi did, and I was dying laughing. I sent it to our marketing girl, and she was like, well, we got to do more ads, I guess. Time to increase ads.
Right. Makes you feel baby, so small.
Let's go. I was like 10% a week until our ROAS drops. Like, let's just keep going.
I wish I could drop 10 million on ads.
Dude, I
That's
would.
Gangster.
I was literally telling Ricky that yesterday. I was like, dude, I can't wait until we're dropping $1 million on ads every month. Because at that point, even if we're sitting at a 4 or 5 ROAS with our continuity on the back and everything, we'll be doing $20 million a year in top line and at margins. Think about how many lives we'll be able to impact. We had this lady coming on a Meta ad, went through our whole funnel. She filled out a form, we called her. We did a discovery call with her. She was like, this is great. She was an ex-professional dancer, like ballet on Broadway, moved here from New York, didn't have a space, used to working with these high-level PTs, found us. She was blown away, came for the eval, signed up for a package, paid in full. And a month later, I was talking to her and she was crying because her goal was to get back into running. But she was back to running. She ran a 5K, no pain, for the first time in 10 years. She was crying and just so happy. And she thanked me for creating this company to give her the opportunity to get better. And it stuck with me forever. And that was 3 months ago. And I still think about it all the time. And so now I'm thinking, why, like, if we can scale our Meta ads to, I know it sounds crazy, but like, say a crazy number, $1 million a month, think about how many more of those people will be able to create that impact for and change their life.
Right.
And so
like,
it's
how
like,
many people's lives aren't changing because you're afraid to spend more on Meta?
Yeah, exactly.
Or Google.
And
yeah.
And so like, that's why we're full steam ahead right now. And like, that's our whole entire thing. I tell everybody on my team, it's like, when you join our team, you shed your identity as a physical therapist, and we're now in the business of changing lives, whatever it takes.
Right.
That's our mission. And being able to do paid ads, Meta, Google, or whatever, that's our lever to get there faster.
Right. Now, I want to highlight something, because we all think the same way, but most people do not think this way. Most people are like, how do I spend the least amount possible on my marketing and still hit my revenue goals? We're very aligned in the fact, it's like, no, I want to spend as much as effing possible on ads. Like, go to $1 million on ads. Like, most people don't think that way, but you got to start thinking of it as a multiplier, as an investment. Like, if there is a stock that, hey, if you invest into this, you're going to get $5 back for every dollar you put into it, you're going to hammer it. And Meta is the exact same way, except you have way more control over the outcome. That's how you got to start thinking about your marketing.
What, Ben? People want to improve their organic. Our organic is improved by our meta ads. We give more opportunities for referrals. Our ROI of like high 4, low 5s is not counting. We just don't have a way to completely track what referrals are being generated because of that. Those referrals that are referred from us from meta ads are also a direct ROI, because if we didn't have that person to help that referred that person, we wouldn't have got that other person. So our organic is also, our referrals is way higher because we're spending on meta than if we would have just, I don't need ads, I'm just going to, grow organically. We're able, because we're scaling our ads, we are also able to douse the fire on improving our organic too. And so I don't think that gets talked about.
I think
that's a pet peeve that I have too, is like when people say like, oh, I want to grow organically, it's like paid ads is going to help you grow organically faster, because if you have a bad service or a bad product or a bad brand, meta ads is going to tank you anyways. So it's like, it's just going to help you grow organically faster.
Yeah, I think like the term Ben used, like people use it as a badge of honor. I didn't need ads to grow. Like, okay, cool. You didn't need it to grow to where you're at right now. You probably will need it to grow to where you want to be. And at the same time, just because you're using ads doesn't mean you have to stop growing organically. Like if I in the last month got like 20 new patients organically, right? And then I want to start running ads, those 20 patients still would have been there if I'm running ads. It's not like you have to either or, like do both, layer them on top and both start helping, And I think like having it as a badge of honor, it does kind of like speak to the identity of a physical therapist. Like, I'm so good, I don't need ads. Like, well, I'm so good, I don't need ads, but I do them anyway. And now I'm growing twice as fast than I would if I was just relying on ads.
I just lapped you, just 2x'd you, 4x'd
right, exactly.
you, becoming stubborn. Yeah. So there's one in particular who had the same philosophy, did all the workshops, learned it from another program, was willing to die on that hill, but out of desperation, ran some meta ads. Then he found that his networking was way better. He was getting more workshops because the people saw his ads, knew who he was, and because he didn't need those relationships, those workshops to work out because he was making money from the ads, he showed up way more confident and more relaxed, coming across as more of like a winner. And that's who people want to work with. When you're going into your workshops or your networking, you come across with a very different energy than, I don't care if this works out. If it makes sense, great. If not, I'm good. That energy makes it work so much better.
It shifted our local boots on the ground marketing, because now we go in there with the intention of serving and building our brand and giving back to the community and chatting with people and having fun. It's funny because we actually generate more leads and more clients from those workshops now, because we go in there with no motive.
You're not trying to sell.
Yeah, we're not trying to sell anything. We're just going in there, going to have some fun, and we'll go grab beers with people after, or we'll do whatever. Like, it's just fun. It's just a fun environment to be in. And although I
love that philosophy. I've never heard someone break it down like that, where it's like paid ads are for cash flow, workshops and networking are for brand. Where it's like, now you're going into it, you're just building relationships, and if you get sales out of it, fantastic. But it's like that creates such a stronger trust in the community that you're trying to build. I love that.
It's funny, like if you're running, like this happens all the time. We'll be running an ad, then we're at a workshop, and then people are like, oh, I see your ads all the time, but they're a member at the gym. And then they're like, yeah, I was thinking about clicking it, but like I didn't. But now that you're here, it's like, oh, this is great, right? And then they come in. Or the opposite happens too. It's like somebody comes to a workshop that don't know too much about us. Then they see all of our ads. Then they go check out our website. Then they go to Google, and then they see all of our 5-star Google reviews, and they're like, oh man, this place is legit. And so it's just like builds this massive insulation barrier around the company so that people are more confident to work with you anyways. It adds an authority piece.
Right. 100%. So let's switch over to Ben. What's your current marketing mix? What's your number one acquisition strategy?
Ours is people find us on Google. About 65% of our new patients come from Google, and our website about come from meta ads and paid ads, like Google ads and stuff. And then the rest is referrals and stuff like that. So
I think you paint the perfect picture of how everyone wants their marketing to go, where you started out doing workshops, you added in meta ads. For a while, that was probably a much larger percentage of your people. But then because you're focused on getting Google reviews, you were focused on making sure your website converted at a high level. Eventually, you hit this critical mass point where you had enough inbound people where referrals and your organic Google search started to take the priority. So you don't have to do those things as much. It's basically gas on the fire at that point.
Like we collected Google reviews from our meta ads and leads that came from that. Now we get more organic leads from our Google My Business and SEO that we otherwise wouldn't have gotten those reviews if we didn't have meta ads, and getting results for those people too. So it's another example of a testament. It's not just referrals, it's the reviews that you collect from meta ads. Ads fuel the fire for organic too.
So I view meta ads as an accelerant because the ultimate goal that everyone wants is that everyone is finding them on Google and coming straight there. If you just rely on that to slowly compound, maybe you're paying an SEO agency that's going to take you years to get the results that you need, hit the numbers that you want. Or you can use meta ads to increase your patient volume and the velocity that you're able to generate Google reviews. That's going to compound into that organic ranking and allow you to get to that dream scenario that Ben's in right now so much faster. It's not that you have to rely on these channels forever. Your marketing mix is going to change as the years go on. And I want to talk about that next and how you evolved into where you're at and finish up with where people should start and how to get to that point. So why don't you guys tell me this? When you first started marketing your practice, how did you get to your first 10K and how did that look between 10K, 30K, and where you are today? How did it evolve?
I can provide a little bit of unique perspective on this because I've done it two different ways, right? I think Ben, because he started boots on the ground, then opened up another clinic, and Will's going to do it differently when he opens up his next clinic compared to the one he already had. When I first started, it was Dream 100 list of the people I want to work with. I want them to refer people to me. I researched for that for a day or two, and then I was knocking on doors all day, talking to gym owners, talking to people. To me, at that point, it was like a numbers game. It was like me putting out flyers on cars, but getting touch points with people that could potentially be clients and patients or potentially send me clients or patients and building those relationships organically. And a big part, I even had a Google Doc that was like a meeting new people script and the points of it so I could teach other people how to do it too if I needed to hire someone to do it. And then, so like, I probably didn't hit off organically. I probably hit 10K at like 5 months in. 5 months in, we were hitting 10K pretty consistently. And for us to get to that 30K, we needed to hire someone. But after that 10K, the 20K came faster than the 10K did. So 5 months in, got to 10, 3 months later, got to 20, and then capped out because did I have more time to treat and be more of a revenue producing person? Guess what I was doing? I was knocking on doors, meeting new people, running more workshops. So I was capping myself on how much revenue I could actually produce for the business because I was doing all those other things, right? So the next clinic we opened up, our Northwest clinic in Vegas, we opened up in January of this year. We just hit 60K last month and it's been 6 months. And driven by meta ads, we already have a local presence, which is good. We still get referrals up there as well. But it was such a different marketing mix because we were relying on asking for referrals, finding us on Google, and then we were relying on meta ads and having a strategy that like I can turn up from this seat right here and this computer right here, I can turn it up. I don't have to, okay, now I have to set aside 8 more hours a day for the next 2 months to knock on doors. I can turn it up here. So we had a couple different ways of doing it. I think everyone does need to earn like skin in the game by knocking on doors, meeting people. I think it helps character building, learning how to take rejection, building grit. I think people need some aspect of that. So when it comes to the sales game, they don't just hear the first no and start beating themselves up. They can persevere through it. But once you've earned your stripes there, there's better ways to start up clinics faster. That's what we did with our second one in Vegas.
I love it.
Yeah, get kicked down a little bit. Like I've been laughed at when I walked into a gym. If I get a note from a patient with an insurance objection, I don't give a shit. I got laughed at in my face. Like, it just gives you that badge of honor and just kind of grit. If you get some people that are like so beat up about getting hit with a no for insurance objection, like, no, you get laughed at in your face first, then that won't feel like anything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Me and Max's first company, it's called Health Connection, is a software company. And my only marketing strategy that I knew was clinic walk-ins. I just cold walked into clinics and be like, check out my app. I got laughed out of so many clinics, so many like receptionists are just like get out of my face. Like I got so much shit to do, but I got nothing out of it. Nothing but that grit and that resilience to getting rejected and pretty damn good stories out of it too.
You're either earning or learning.
How did you get to your first 10, 30K months and what did the progression of your marketing model look like?
I mean, it was pretty similar to the other guys too. I have got lists of 100 people that I just wanted to create connections with, gyms. So I did the same exact thing. Just walked in and would meet people. I used to be a pretty competitive CrossFit athlete. So I had pretty good connections in the CrossFit community. So I just started there, going into random gyms, meeting different people. Funny story though, is when we started working with golfers, I never golfed before. I just started golfing maybe 4 years ago. And when we brought Ricky on, he was a golfer and we were like, dude, let's go work with golfers. And so I would book these lessons with these pros and my swing just didn't even exist. Like it was so bad. And so I was like, yeah, like we work with golfers and they're like, bro, you suck at golf. And I was like, no, not me. We got this other guy, he's a golf guy. But it was funny because some of those early relationships, they were like, this guy's crazy. And then I ended up getting him to come in and then they got to work with Ricky and they're like, oh, this dude, like he's a legend, right? Like so good. But it was by putting myself out there and in a vulnerable spot and getting laughed at that created that connection. And now we still have these connections 4 years later. And so by that time we were doing 25, 30K probably. We really didn't start running ads until 40K months. Basically, it took us 36 or 40 months to hit our first million. And then it took another 17 months after that. Then it took 12 months. And now we're doing it in less than 6 months. The paid ads piece is what got us there to where we need to be. But early on, it was the repeated no's. We got turned down 9 out of 10 times. But when you do that 100 times, you create these 10 really strong relationships with people. And you have to do that at the beginning. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to go faster, you have to do that at the beginning. Create the relationships, build the brand. That's the most important thing. We were talking about collecting cash up front and shortening cash cycles. But I think about that in growth cycles and anything. I love what Elon says, your annual goal and compress it into a quarter. You grow 4 times faster, but it's not 4 times faster that year. That compounds year over year and you hit these growth curves that are insane and you learn, you run into new problems and you create new solutions. And that's the fun part. But it does start with door knocking. You got to go get a bunch of no's. It builds up that grit and that character and you're either earning or learning. And they both normally don't happen at the same time.
I have noticed that the people who had started with our program, that started with meta ads because they didn't have time to do the workshops because they had another job or something that they're doing alongside starting this, those people struggle the most with hiring. I feel like there's got to be a correlation between the people who have gotten their teeth kicked in and persevered through that and the quality of a leader that they are and other people's willingness to actually follow them. I think there's a lot to be said about doing it the hard way initially, for sure.
People see all these 4 handsome faces on here, but they don't see the scars on our back from getting kicked down for the last 6 years. I wouldn't change anything for the world. Those skills, those characteristics, those traits that you develop, nobody can take from you. We were just talking about Ben on the call earlier with the CM clients saying you have to be able to build those skills, especially in sales. It's like you got to do those thousands of sales calls before you bring on a sales rep because that skill of sales is going to help you with everything in life. From actual sales to hiring clinicians to having a conversation with your wife about where you want to go to dinner, which honestly, I don't care how good you are at sales, you'll lose that. Everything else in life, it's applicable.
We got to go out there, get over our fears so that we can effectively lead other people through their own fear. I'm going to rapid fire this one, 0 to 10K. What's the marketing mix that you would recommend for people at 0 to get to 10K?
So in my mind,
what can they ignore? I think is almost a better question. What are things that they should be ignoring? Because everyone's doing too much and getting nothing out of it.
I would say what you could probably ignore at the beginning is SEO, because that is a long game. Google ads, I would probably hold off on for right now. My mix would be between local boots on the ground, Dream 100, knocking on the doors and setting up workshops and things like that. And then a mix of meta ads because they are faster acting, easier to get started. I think that's kind of what my mix would be. I don't know what percentage I would put on it. A 50-50 mix would be pretty decent, but it depends on your personality. Like if I'm an expert door knocker, say I just came and I used to have a solar sales job or a pest control sales job in college, maybe I'm doing 80% door knocking and 20% meta ads and kind of building up from there. You know, it's like, just depends on personality, but I would say that's the mix I would go for. What do you guys think?
I like the 80-20. Getting to 10K is 3, maybe 4 package sales. That's 1 a week. I would rather somebody develop those traits by getting 1,000 no's and a few yeses to build up that character, because that's something that's going to carry forward for your $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 months. You know what I mean? You'll never be able to take those away from you. Throw the meta ads in to help, but 0 to 10K % grit and 20% meta ads.
Totally agree. If you've been building relationships and doing workshops for 6 months and haven't gotten anything out of it, time to do something else. If you need cash flow in the door after a couple months, get something else to get cash flowing in the door while you figure out how to make the relationship thing work.
If you've been doing it for months, you need to develop new traits. That's where you need to read some books,
need to be a new
learn
person.
Sales. You need to work on personal development. I know we're laughing about it, but
it happens all the time, dude.
It does happen all the time. You need to become that will be doing 100K months plus. You need to become that person when you're making $0 a month. If you're not that person at $0, you will never get there.
I think if you don't diagnose the reason why these workshops are not going well, these relationships aren't being built, once you add meta ads on top of it, you're going to get kicked in the teeth, brother. Because these people don't know you. They're not meeting you in person. You're on the phone with them. Now the trust has dropped even further, right? So I think I get both points. I think diagnosing what's going on with the workshops is going to be really important in that case.
Right. And for some people, it's just they have another job and they don't have time to be as consistent as they want to be. Yeah. Some people are just introverts. And it's that is not a strategy built for introverted people. So I do think
what, though? I'm an introvert as well. If you put me in a room with a bunch
bullshit,
of people,
dude.
If you put me in a room with a bunch of people that I don't have anything in common with, I'm going to be in the back in the corner and I'm going to leave. But you put me in a room with a bunch of business guys and guys like you that we've been friends, all fucking talk forever. I love that stuff. And
that's not being an introvert. That's prioritizing your time.
Okay, whatever. I'm prioritizing your time avert. And either way, you got to develop those skills of sales. You have to develop charisma. The book Charisma Myth. If you're having problems having those conversations, developing whatever you need to be that person, read that book. You have to develop that stuff or else I bet it's on all of our shelves. You have to become the person that you're going to be doing 100K, 200K months. You have to do it when you're at 0. If you do not do it, your brand will die. You're going to run meta ads and it's going to fall apart. As you do that, crank meta ads and get out in the community and do both at the same time. If you don't have time, remove the shit from your schedule that's blocking your time to hit your goals. You have to.
Totally agree.
I'm going to take the easy route here and say it's between 80 and 50. So the reason I like it, so to make a point, I want the reps of meta ads for sales so I can be more effective in the sales for in-person that are higher quality leads. So that's the reason that I do want a little bit higher meta mix, just so somebody can get more reps in with the sales effective.
I agree, but I think it comes with the mindset of how you're doing those reps, right? If you look at them as reps, phenomenal idea. If you're looking at them as I need this patient to come in or else my business is going to go, oh, this person said no to me, I'm a shitty physical therapist. At that point, it's just adding poison to your system in your mindset, right? I agree. I think we're all kind of on the same page. The mindset is what needs to develop, having that resilience, having that grit, and really looking at why I'm doing what I'm doing. If I'm doing what I'm doing to make as many sales as possible, nothing is going to work because rejection is going to feel like a dagger to the heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I say that to a lot of newbies who haven't ran ads before. They're so afraid about spending $1,500 a month on meta ads. What if they don't work? Don't just think about it like that. Would you pay $1,500 for someone to come in and tell you exactly where all the problems are in your business? Of course they would. They spend $8,000, $10,000 for someone to come and do that. Meta ads does that with the potential of also bringing in cash. The fastest way to figure out what's broken in your business is to run some meta ads and some cold traffic at your systems. Nothing's going to be more humbling than that and allow you to learn and accelerate your rate of failure faster, for sure.
And I would say just to put a bow on this thing too, that 10 to 30K months, that's where I would flip it. And that's where I would go 60, 70, 80% meta ads and then 20% boots on the ground. Because that's the second that you get there, it's okay, now it's about speed. You're going to develop these characteristic traits as you go, but now you're let's go faster.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're technically out of time. Do you guys want to rapid fire some questions from audience or save it for another episode?
I have a hard stop.
I could be a little late to it if you guys want to hit some.
I'll ask you guys just this. How much should you invest into marketing based off of your revenue? How much should people be expecting to put into ads?
10%. It can grow and scale. If we're in scaling mode, we'll go up to 15%. If it catches up, it'll go down to 5%, but ideally we're around 10%.
I agree. I think people make the mistake of spending 10% of their revenue on ads. You need to be spending up to where you want to be in revenue. If you're doing 20K a month and you want to get to 30K a month, you need to spend that money as if you were doing 30K a month, because that's going to be the gap that gets you there. For us, we spend $1,200 to $1,500 a month per PT on ads because we need 25 leads per PT per month. That's how our funnel works. We want to spend as much as we can based off of hiring and the revenue that we want to be at or we expect to be at, not the revenue that we're at now.
Why Meta ads and not Google ads?
Meta ads gets you in the game faster, less regulatory control. You like to get authenticated. It gives you more creative control. Google ads, you're going towards intent-based searches for these specific terms to pop up. And you're also competing against other people that are going for those exact same terms. It's bid placement that you're kind of competing with. Whereas Meta ads, it's more interruption marketing where it's popping up. And as long as you have a good creative, you can compete with anybody. It doesn't matter how much money you're spending. You can compete with anybody as long as the creative is good enough and it speaks to who you're speaking to. And then also, like, who's going to be somebody that's like understands your service and the differentiation of your service between you and insurance PT more? Someone searching physical therapy near me, or someone that sees a video of you explaining why you're different, going to a landing page, why you're different. Why I would lean towards Meta ads.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Will, Ben, anything to add to that?
I would have echoed that same exact thing. I feel like Google search is kind of going down. Like there's less and less Google searches happening every single month. And so we do it, like we run Google ads, but Meta ads is exactly what Zaki said.
GEO, generative engine optimization, is definitely the future. Just met with Max. We got an insane tool built into the AI call analyzer that's going to handle that automatically. So excited to talk about that on the podcast and roll that out to all of our coaches and then our mastermind and then to the masses. If you got value out of this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Cash Physical Therapy Headquarters podcast. If you got a question that you would like us to work through, analyze, and answer for you on the podcast, go to clinicalmarketer.com/ask. We will answer it on our next episode where we're doing open Q&As. Thanks for listening.